Hi, my name is Muhammad Mukris Haikal bin Muhammad Nizar. Now, I will present about the question under the topic of demand and supply. So, for the part A, for scenario 1, suppose that as part of an international trade agreement, the Malaysian government reduced the tariff on imported coffee. Will this affect the supply or demand for coffee? Why? Which determinant of demand or supply is being affected? When the Malaysia government reduced the tariff on imported coffee, it will result in an increase in the supply of coffee. This is because when the tariff on imported coffee is reduced, it causes the cost of production to decrease and the profit earned to increase. This will lead to an increase in supply in coffee market. The determinant of supply is being affected is government policy, which is indirect taxation. So, as you can see in the graph, when the government reduced tariff on imported coffee, the cost of production will decrease and the supply will increase. The supply curve will shift to the right from S0 to S1. The price will decrease from P0 to P1, while the quantity will increase from Q0 to Q1. The equilibrium price and quantity of coffee will change from E0 to E1.
Scenario 2. Suppose the Ministry of Health (MOH) in Malaysia published a study finding that coffee drinking reduces the probability of getting colon cancer. How do you imagine this will affect the market for coffee? And why? Which determinant of demand or supply is being affected? When the Ministry of Health (MOH) in Malaysia publishes a study finding that coffee drinking reduces the probability of getting colon cancer, it will result of an increase in the demand of coffee. This is because when this study is published, the number of coffee buyers will increase and they always want their coffee needs to be met. This will lead to an increase in demand in coffee market. The determinant of demand is being affected is the number of consumer. Show graphically with before and after curve on the same axis how this will change the equilibrium price and quantity of coffee. Explain your reasoning. When we refer to graph, the demand will shift to the right from DO to D1. Then, the price will increase from PO to P1 and the quantity of coffee also increase from QO to Q1. Next, the equilibrium price and quantity of coffee will change from EO to E1.
I continue with scenario 3. So, when we combine scenario 1 and scenario 2, suppose that US government reduced the tariff on imported coffee and a reputable study is published indicating that coffee drinkers have lower rates of colon cancer. So, what will the combined impact on the equilibrium price and equilibrium quantity of coffee? So, the answer will be when the US government reduce the tariff on imported coffee, it will reduce the cost of production for coffee and will affect in increasing supply of coffee. At the same time, a reputable study is published indicating that coffee drinkers have lower rates of colon cancer, will increasing the number of coffee buyers, and this will affect in increasing demand for coffee. As a result of this increase in supply can provide benefits to producer and consumer.
Continue from what have been said from Mukris. This is because producers can produce coffee with a low cost of production due to the reduction of tariffs or imported coffee, and at the same time, increased demand of coffee by consumers can be met and benefit them because they can buy at a cheap price and a quantity coffee is always enough. So, both of the demand curve and supply curve for the coffee will achieve an equilibrium price and equilibrium quantity that will give satisfaction to both producers and consumers. Lastly, the increase in demand proportionate to increase in supply will make the price to remain unchanged while the quantity will increase.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Muhammad Ali Shahin bin Shazumi. Now, I will answer the question for part B. One of the examples in my own life that changed in the market is hand sanitizer. In 2019, the demand for hand sanitizers is low as well as low price. This is because hand sanitizer was generally used to protect ourselves from bacterial infection at that time. COVID-19 had attacked our country with ferocity by the end of 2019. The disease has caused widespread panic and fear among Malaysians. To prevent the virus, Datuk Dr. Nur Hisham Abdullah, the General Director of Health, has made it important for all citizens to obey standard operating procedures (SOP), like as wearing face masks, keeping 1 meter between each other, avoiding gathering in big groups, and using hand sanitizer. After engaging in activity, everyone should use this hand sanitizer to kill harmful bacteria and reduce the risk of being infected with COVID-19. As a result, the demand for hand sanitizer is high and the price is also increasing. Furthermore, the supply of hand sanitizer is also increasing due to technology advancement in the market. The government will take action against any shop that offers a higher price than the available price, such as pharmacies and online sellers. Sellers face difficulties as a result of this situation since they must supply hand sanitizers in large amount while also reducing manpower in order to follow the SOP set in order to break the disease chain. This is because in order to protect themselves and others, all Malaysians must always have hand sanitizer with them. As a result, the demand curve shifted to the right. The price for 1 unit 50 ml of hand sanitizers increased from 4 ringgit to 6 ringgit, and equilibrium for hand sanitizer at higher price and quantity.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Sufian bin Nordin. So right now I will explain the part B, point number 2, which is find a relatively news article to support your finding. So the article that I have found show that 56.17% of the revenue growth of hand sanitizer in Malaysia from 2019 to 2020 has increased, which is from 12.11% in 2019 to 68.28% in 2020. This because all the Malaysian people has started using the hand sanitizer during pandemic to avoid from virus COVID-19. As you can see the picture of the percentage, the revenue growth of hand sanitizer in Malaysia from 2019 to 2020 during COVID-19. So this article by Statista.com.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Aiman bin Mashrudin. I will present about this case study and question A. This case study are about the building and construction industry has urged the government to intervene in managing the increase in building material price. Some items which have shown drastic price increase include mild steel up to 41% and sand up to 20% since October 2020. The group also called for the variation of price clause in contract for government project to be extended for another 12 months. Next, I will talk about a question that is asking about 5 factors that are contributing to the increase in the price of property. 5 factors that are contributing to the increase in the price of property are the increase in the cost of raw materials. For example, the drastic increase of mild steel up to 41% and sand up to 20% since October 2020. Then there is issue of a severe worker shortage among foreign workers. This is due to the fact that foreign workers are unable to enter our country because of the COVID-19 pandemic, which has been present for the past 2 years. Next, the increase of logistic costs. For example, due to pandemic, the transportation costs for the material delivery increase. After that, the upward trend in price of crude oil such as this is due COVID-19. The oil industry work has been delayed. Lastly, the factors are contributing to the increase in the price of property is the rise of energy costs. It is because when there are shortage of foreign workers, the demand for payment from local workers increase due to not enough of labor.
Thank you, Aiman, for the explanation about the case study and about the A question before. Okay, now I am Muhammad Haras Afnaf. We'll continue with the B and C question. First of all, the B question. This question is asking about to show in an appropriate diagram the effect of all factors to the market equilibrium of the property industry. Okay, after the Aiman explanation about the factor of the increase in the price of property, the graphs shown are like this. It shows that the demand curve that is D0 have the move in rightward into the new curve D1. This is because when the price of the raw material increase, the price of property also will increase. That will affect the income. When the income decrease, so to the demand also will decrease. When the demand decrease, the market equilibrium, the E0 will have the new one. That is the point E1 where is the demand and price match. Same also to the point of price and quantity. We also have a new one that is Q1 and P1. Next, I will talk about the C question that is asking about to briefly explain the measure to control the price of property that could be implemented by the government. The measures to control the price of property that could be implemented by the government by fixing the higher limit of price, or known as a price ceiling. This is because price ceiling is the maximum price set by the government to prevent the price of the essential commodities from rising above a certain level. Then the government can use the non-price control, that is the imposition of the tax, to intervene the price of the property. In this case, the government can impose indirect tax. Lastly, the government can implement the measure to control the price of the property by giving subsidies to the construction industry. It is because subsidies are an aid given by the government to the producer to reduce the cost of the production and encourage supply, thus reducing the price of the goods and services. Okay, that's it from me. Thank you for listening.